Alright guys, get ready to go live here on Facebook. So I've been terribly neglecting uh, the YouTube. On the other hand, I've been uploading live videos on Facebook like there's no tomorrow. So anyway, get ready to talk about the Nick. Alright guys, I'm gonna make this a two-part thing because I wanted to talk about the Nick a little bit too, but part two is gonna be why is my dog biting me? And it's gonna be titled It's You. Uh and I only figured this out last Tuesday, but I realized the reason, if we have to think of the Nick, if I just said, okay, I think we need to invent something for dogs. Hi, Mandy. This is going to be good for you, Mandy. Uh, let's just say we didn't have any. There was no tech, and then somehow somebody said, we need brainstorming. We need ideas. Get in a think tank. Start coming up with some ideas for tech. What do you see that could help us level the playing field with dogs? I would say, they do seem to be a lot faster than us. They do seem to be able to move a lot quicker. There are some people that can move quickly, but most of them don't. And they give themselves away very quickly that they don't move quickly. So, if you guys saw the video yesterday with Elliot and Crash, she's completely insane. But what he did and I'm gonna go try to cut that clip and put it in slow mo. But what he did was blitzkrieged her. He blitzkrieged her. And that meant to say everything. That was meant to say everything. And he doesn't realize she's not seeing that. But if you said, well, if she could see, what would she see? And in a way, I know this is hard to understand, and you can say I'm crazy, but they're seeing things in slow motion and fast motion all at the same time. Or they're able to see things frame by frame by frame. Their mind is able to process frame by frame by frame. That's how fast it happened. Elliot blitzkrieged her ass. And the only reason he didn't take her and shake her like he did that Jack Russell is because he knew he was subordinating his impulses, because I would blitzkrieg him. And if you said, well, how would he think that you have any ability to blitzkrieg the Nick? The Nick. I now understand, if we can now level the playing field. If they can blitzkrieg and we can't, you know, that makes them better than us in their mind. They have the ability. If you said, well, what does dog's aggression level go? What is the range? Uh, the eyes to a full blown blitzkrieg. That's where it goes. So if you said, well, Elliot didn't give Crash a bunch of looks before he blitzkrieged her, the hell he didn't. The hell he didn't. Just know that she didn't see him and she's completely insane. So if you said, okay, well, if we have a tool that can help us blitzkrieg the dog, hadn't we better use that carefully, deliberately, and with concerted effort? Absolutely. That's what you don't want. When people say, you're going to stand around finding the dog's working level. If you don't think that they know you're blitzkrieging them, they know you're blitzkrieging them. Unless you're that much of an expert. If they had a thing that went on the dog's neck, they ought to have that by now. That tells you, if these people are that committed to this freaking stimulus method, that tells you, oh, its heart rate's going up. It's getting, you better stay below this line, or it's going to think you're blitzkrieging it. And I mean, that can, in the right circumstance, then you maybe have a dog that obeys. But, the benefit of that is if the dog believes we can blitzkrieg them, then we can blitzkrieg them at a distance and all these things. That's going to make us better than somebody that can't do that if we have no ability to move quickly. If you said dogs don't figure that out, I mean, one time, the, the people that you're going to be training dogs for, these are not triathletes. They're not triathletes. They probably can't dance. They have no rhythm. They have nothing. They have nothing. Mandy's like, that's me. They have the ability to push a button. That's what your goal is. Oh, God, I don't have the treats. Hang on. Crash is right here. I've got to constantly feed her. If this dog is saying this person has nothing, how can we level the playing field? Well, we can give them the ability to text the dog and the ability to blitzkrieg it. At least give the dog the impression that they have that ability, because if you said that doesn't change the way they see that individual, yeah, it does. Because then they watch that individual more closely because they learn to look for precursors that precede the blitzkrieg. You said human beings don't do that. That's all they do. Ask Mark. Mark's a surgeon in the Army. I don't know if you're there, Mark, but they made him go to captain. He's a brilliant, brilliant surgeon. He's an amazing person. But they made him go to captain school where they were talking about, he'd probably kill me if he hears me saying this, moving all these tanks and everything. And he's like, if they need me for this, we're in trouble. So that's all people do is honestly play war games, and it's when you've gone to war with your dog, and that's what happens with these people, and people's perception you know is going to vary. If somebody says the dog is biting them, if you're actually really being mauled by a dog, then you're at the hospital. Or people, no, that's what people say. Oh, it's biting me, but it's not chomping down. And I say, I understand that. You're not calling me from the emergency room. Anyway, that's what we've got to think of, you guys. The Nick is a blitzkrieg, but we better be careful. We better have a strategy. You know, and if you said, well, generally it's going to be a blitzkrieg battle. You're still fighting the war if you're at the point, if you are a dog like Parker, because you've already set the war in motion and you already made it clear you had no tanks, you had nothing. You had no MacArthur, you had nothing. No, you were MacArthur when they raided the Philippines or whatever it was. He said he was going to come back. He did come back, but that's who you are. You've already set the war in motion. Now it's tit for tat. Now they're escalating. I mean, Parker's got very well developed adversarial behaviors. He knows how to play. Once he starts playing, then he's ready to escalate the war to the point that he can win. A lot of people are just setting that up. But, if a dog is biting you, that's you. That's you. You've damaged the relationship with the dog. And, I hate to have to tell people that. It's a very bitter pill to swallow. So, anyway, that's what I might guys to think of. But, just the Nick, if we said what possible way, because the Nick is, and I always said it was a nanosecond, but they insist it's a millisecond, and a nanosecond would be 1/100th of that. But if you said dogs are able to understand things that occur in milliseconds, yeah, they are, because they have the ability to blitzkrieg. That's their whole, and if you said, I have never heard a single story about a dog that involved, it happened so fast. Look at that video I posted on Understanding of that little baby pulling on that dog's tail. Well, the second it grabbed its leg, it blitzkrieged the kid. The kid didn't see this coming. It was a complete blitzkrieg. And if you think that dog said anything other than, oh, that worked, you know what I mean? The kid's gone, so that's how they operate. So you have to have that capacity. Once they see you don't have the capacity, yeah, they might just bully the hell out of you. But Deb, if you're watching, I mean, no, Pri and Chester don't bite me at all. And I don't want to upset you, girl, but that one time you were out here and Joe was squeezing Bella in between his knees. I mean, I'll never forget that. Just being mean, just being mean. And I know men do that to dogs, pick at them and poke at them and do things to get reactions. They do it to people. But if you've done any of that, you've damaged, if I said dogs are made out of paper mache, what does your dog look like? Most people's dogs would be crushed. They have not safeguarded. Hello, Mario. They haven't safeguarded the relationship. And if you said people don't go through their life damaging relationships with people and animals and every other thing, that's all they do. I'm starting to understand that's all they do as of last Tuesday, and I've learned the hard way that, sometimes the people that you're kindest to are going to be the worst to you. Not always, but, just as long as you understand that's a part of it. And dogs say that too. But if you've got a dog that's fortifying itself, that's biting you, that's coming at you at all, that's you. I don't know what to tell people other than that's you. if you've got people, it's kind of like that saying that if everybody around you is acting like an ass, it might be you. You know what I mean? It might not be that everybody else is an ass except you. It might be you. So if you said you don't take deliberate efforts to safeguard your relationship with these dogs, and that if they drew a picture of you, it would be like this, it would be. That would be their picture. If they could suddenly draw, oh no, no. In fact, I'll go get that one dog Jumpy that can paint pictures. That elephant. There's a pig that paints too. I'll get all of these things to paint a picture of me, and it's not going to be this. If you've done this at all, you've made me uncomfortable. You know, and I understand that. I understand that. And you have to be willing. And I'm brutal. I can be brutal to be friends with. Ask Mike. First, I unfriended him. I wouldn't even be his friend because he was friends with all these horrible people that I hated. And then I told him, take this video down. It's so horrible. But he did. But he did. So it can be brutal. But you have to think long term. If we want to get a puppy, and that's what Matt said to me, because they've got two kids. And I said, we've got to have a decorum. We've got to have a way to act on the puppy. That's going to be hard. I said, no, Matt, living in Syria is hard. Saying that I am enough evolved of a human being that I will be able to intellectually view this dog from the behaviorist viewpoint part of me, and not selfishly just have a laundry list of I want, I want, I want, I want. A dog that fetches, a dog that lays down, a dog that doesn't chew, a dog that comes right when I call, a dog it's unbelievable the things these people tell me. I want it, I. Okay. What I see happening is these people just eventually end up boring these dogs. Pretty soon, these dogs are so out of shape and overweight, they're just laying on these people's couch until they die. And if you said, well, I brought a lot of joy to that dog's life, well, to me, you're a horrible person. I'm brutal to be friends with. I'm brutal. Anyway, that's what I want you guys to think of. If that dog draws a picture of you and share if you're there. Hello, Mashara. Um, that woman, that video I posted, and any of you guys that want to get in my little group, I almost think I saw that woman's finger pointing at a dog. So if you said that's not adversarial, uh, here's an idea. Go out in public and point your finger in somebody's face. That's, for whatever reason, a universal, not good gesture. I'm pretty sure if I said I'm going to go out and do like a prank show where I'll put my finger right up in people's face, they're going to slap your finger out of the way. And the person, oh, it's biting me, it's biting me. Yeah, it doesn't like you. You've got to face that. If the dog is biting you, part of it needs to be, you need to be more likable. Not that it's an aggressive dog. And if you said, well, you get dogs in there that go at you, yes, they've already been trained by other people to do that. I don't raise dogs. And no, I'm not saying you couldn't do it, because there are hinky dogs that are missing circuits in their brain. But generally speaking, when people say the dog is biting them and everything, it's, defending itself against you. That's what you need to understand. Whatever, you need to take a step back and say, what was it doing? Oh, I'm a monster. I'm an absolute monster. Um, what was the dog doing right prior to when it was biting me? Be able to analyze things. People are just living right at that moment. Well, now it's biting me. Well, what happened right before that? Before that, before that, before that. Do a forensic analysis. And if you said, well, why, what if I just get the nick? And this is why punishment, trying to get the nick and blitzkrieg them and stuff doesn't work. If they're fortified, I don't know. I'm not an expert with military. Mario, please look up. Uh, I'm pretty sure that Himmler, Rommel, whoever it was, didn't win every blitzkrieg. It was effective, though. But it isn't always effective. That's what you have to understand. If blitzkrieg was effective, I think you have to think of, the ultimate blitzkrieg, dropping an atomic bomb on somebody. That's why I say dropping a piano on them. But anyway, that's what I want you guys to think of. You have damaged the relationship with the dog if the dog is biting you, and it's hard to swallow. And it may require costly professional training. Mandy's like, I know. Well, I know, you know, but that's you. You're going to, and if you're going to sit there and say to me, you know, I've lived with a person for a year, I don't know them very well. You're living with these dogs for years and years and years. The problem is they're figuring you out very, very quickly. That the dynamic is you're coming at them. If you look at that video, share. I want to get you to get that video. Uh, I want you to get that video of that whatever thing it was. This dog had every strategy in the world how to move away from this woman. It was looking back over its shoulder. It was continually looking back as just anything. And then it kept doing that. And when it saw there was no retreat, it then saw the other dog and ran over to that as a possible escape mechanism. I mean, it's just, when people say, well, I don't want to do that. I want a dog. I want a lot of things in life too. But I understand the only way to get them is to, with animals, is be able to view them from their behaviorist viewpoint, not just have a laundry list of things you want or comparing it to the old dog and everything else, you know. Because I told you, Deb, you'd have to be very careful and safeguard the relationship with this dog. And we can fix it. I don't want you to get discouraged. And if you've unfriended me by the time this video ends, I completely understand. I tell people when you I completely understand, but that's what it was. You've damaged the relationship. You need to run damage control, and you need to get other things in place. It's not going to just stop biting you. Whatever you've done to get it to biting you, you've let it down that road. And if you said, well, dogs don't bite other dogs, they do it as a function of, next thing, this thing will be blitzkrieging you. They do it as a function of letting them know they don't like them, or to force them into some kind of engagement, and then it becomes anxiety based. It's a vicious cycle. People mess these dogs up to the point you can't even fix them. Just like these people. There is such a thing as a psychiatrist saying, I can't even treat this person, because it's that, and it's not, that's extreme cases, but, it's the same thing with dogs. So that's what you guys have to think of. You need to just fold your arms up and just look at the dog, turn and walk away. If this thing doesn't follow you, well, you need to face the fact this dog hates you. This dog hates you. So you've got to get the pager. You've got to get a better way to communicate to make their life more convenient. I mean, I have to tell you, I didn't even realize the Fitbit sent you texts until it was vibrating, and then I saw it was streaming me messages. And I was like, well, this is convenient. And I was like looking around because I didn't know where the phone was, just like I was doing then, but it's right there. But now I realize that's more convenient. My brain has instantly processed when I feel that pager. Now my brain is instantly saying information to process, and so that's all we're doing with the dog. If it's nothing more, that's why the more I think of it that way, the more horrifying the way these other people are doing it seems. And I don't want to name names, but that like girl Robin McFarland, she'd rather hit a puppy with a nick than do the pager. It's bizarre. It's bizarre. I don't understand it. And that's going to damage the relationship over a long time. You could probably maybe get some people to buy it, like your, real tightly wired New Yorker types might go for something that actually did contract your muscle to get your attention if you were in the subway or something. But eventually they'd get sick of it. Eventually they'd get sick of it and they'd break off the relationship with that company. And that's what happens with these people with their dog. If you said, we're going to start a tempo of the pager in your life, and we're going to continue that until you die, I'd say, I'm all in. Give it to me. I've already got it. And if you can find ways to make it better, I'll go for that too. So that's what we're saying to the dog. If you said, I'm going to start a tempo of stimulus and I'm going to continue that through your life, I say, you're awful. You're awful. You're a terrible person. You shouldn't do that to a dog, and it's going to be terrible mistakes all the time when they accidentally have the thing turned up, and I'm going to tell you the caveat, whether they've resolved that or not, I don't even know. I don't think they have. The caveat is if your using the nick and constant, what's going to happen is you're going to have the nick turned all the way up. You're going to forget that. And you're going to hit the constant instead, and your low level stim just went to high level stim, and the dog's going to go inside out. That's what I tried to tell Dogtra about that Dogtra IQ. They put that constant button in the middle. You couldn't help but hit it. And they were telling people to put it on dogs. Oh, 5 pounds. I said, a 5 pound dog is going to freaking go inside out. I said, they're going to have this thing at a fucking surgical center trying to uninside out it after these people accidentally hit it with constant. There shouldn't be anything that exists that should result in that. If you said this Fitbit, if this thing gets wet, the pager thing might accidentally take on an electric component and start, it's just going to be contracting your muscles, though. It's not actually going to leave a mark. And if you said, well, in order for something to hurt, it has to leave a mark, I would say, oh, please. They have a name for it. It's called emotional scars. You can't see them from the outside. So that's what these people would say. It wouldn't matter how high you put it, and it wouldn't. It wouldn't. It's not going to leave a mark. It probably would though if you did it long enough, but it's not going to leave a mark. So that's how they're justifying it. I'm not even sure what this thing is telling me to do all the time, but I'll tell you, it's very, very fascinating. And then when you start getting a text, then it just streams it across there. So let me tell you how it works. You feel the thing vibrate, and then you've now developed this. I already do that anyway because I'm already was looking at my remote. So you've now developed a muscle memory when that vibration. And if you said how long did that take? 3 texts, 3 texts. You know, and I didn't even know it did it the first time, but I figured it out very, very quickly. So that's what you have to think about. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna go out there. It's very ugly out there today, but my cousin's on the way over. And hopefully we're not going to do a documentary called How to Film Your Legs. I don't know. I'm going to try to put her in the lower chair. Oh, and I did get a selfie stick. So anyway, but if you guys have any questions, does anyone have any questions? Does anyone have a thumbs up, a heart, anything, a wow? Angry. That's better. Angry. Be furious. You should be furious what these people are doing out there. That they're safeguarding that they wouldn't want to make it more convenient for the dog. If it's more convenient for them to hit the stem, as they call it, and you're never going to hear me say the word stem without being followed by as they call it. I don't believe that. I don't believe it. I don't believe that's more convenient, And I'm glad these people have locked themselves into don't use the pager, it freaks them out. It's all right, whoever's angry, you're gone. You're gone. Oh, in fact, this is what I have to tell you guys. Everybody who didn't love the crash video is gone. I'm sorry. When you're all gone later, you'll know why. Because I said, that's what it's come to. That's what it's come to. I said, this is what happened when I saw these likes. I said, of course I'm over it, Now I'm taking an acting class, Dustin Hoffman acting class. I'm like, I said, these people don't love this poor little dog. What do I have? I don't have anything for these people. They're gone. That's what I said. They're gone. And I burst into tears. And anyway, Alice just tagged me in something. What I need? Oh, that's what I need. I need. Oh, you're angry. Oh, you're angry. Mandy's angry because of her old trainer messing Parker up. And it's true. I think you see now, Mandy, where, what happened was you were trying to fight him. Then you tried to bring in MacArthur. And then he waited until MacArthur left to bomb the Philippines. And you're the Philippines. And MacArthur said he'd come back, but you didn't want him back. So that's what happened. He was already fortified. If you teach him to fight you, if you teach them to fight you, don't be disappointed when they get good at it, because if you said, well, I want him to be good at everything he does, well, you taught him to fight, he's good at that, he's good at that. So, that's, yeah, no, I totally get it, and it's just, you just have to think, maybe I was a dog in another life. I think I, you know, And again, my answer to anything that anybody says is hard is life in Syria is hard. That's what hard is. If you people are that soft that behaving a certain way around a dog because of selfish motives, because your childhood dog did fetch the stick and did everything you said, you're a horrible person. You need to say that to yourself. I'm a horrible person. I shouldn't even get a dog, because if I want something that really is a less sentient being, I better get a guinea pig or something, because dogs, if you said their evolution and intellect and everything is paralleling humans, I'd say absolutely. If you don't believe me, look at the way they trained hunting dogs back in the 70s and then watch a news broadcast from the 70s. These people look hokey, goofy, and like they don't have a clue what's going on. And that was what we were listening to back in the 70s. So if you said people now are not more intellectually involved, they are. And they're bringing the dogs along with them. That's why Labradors and everything else. If you said where do you believe that the most intellectual people in the dog world are? The LRC, which is the Labrador Club. And if you said why, I'd say one word: Fran Smith. Fran Smith is the president of OFA. She's a lifetime member of the LRC. There isn't anybody on the planet that knows. I'm going to tell you what Fran Smith knows about dogs. Everything. And so she's a lifetime member of the LRC. These people are the most evolved, intellectual, educated people on the planet. So they're looking for evolved dogs. I can just tell you that. That's why these dogs are evolved. If you've seen an intellectual dog, you want an intellectual dog again. And that's why we've got to get better tools. That's why maybe in the 90s it was fine to use the low level sit method. We didn't understand enough to know better. Now we do know better, and the dogs are more intellectual. They are. People that don't believe that, if you said, well, go look at competition dogs from the 70s compared to the ones they now, yeah, the ones now are a lot better, even the athletes and stuff, honestly. You go back and look at athletes and, all that stuff is evolving. Everything is evolving. Everything is evolving except for electronic collar training. It's moved. It has not evolved at all. The methodology has not evolved in 20 years. It's I don't want to just get on here and have a breakdown. But I'm going to go out there and you guys tell me, give me, or in fact, Mandy, I'll go get Parker out right now and I'll go get my battle gear on and I will go to war with Parker. That's what it'll be called. War with Parker. All right, girl. I'll be right back. Hi, Victoria. I want you guys to know I don't have my glasses, and so I can see the comments later. Crash chewed up my glasses, and I want to tell you what else she did. Shoe Bottom and Briggy now bring me everything else. Shoe Bottom went out in the garage, got my brand new running shoe, and brought it inside, which she was probably bringing it to me, but then gave it to Crash, and Crash completely destroyed it. So now I'm back to running in my old running shoes. So hopefully Angie Marie is getting me new running shoes for Christmas. And I've got to get in a lockbox to put them in. All right, guys, I'll be right back with Parker. War with Parker.